I never thought I'd come this close to dying, inside my own home. But that's exactly what happened because of an HOA president who thought her rules mattered more than my right to breathe. The day Karen Westfield disconnected my oxygen tank, she didn't just cross a line, she almost ended my life. When I first moved into Sunshine Meadows, I thought it was the peaceful place I needed. After years of fighting COPD, my doctor told me to find a single-story home somewhere quiet, easy to navigate on bad days when I needed the wheelchair. I did everything right, read the bylaws, double-checked the Fair Housing Act, made sure my medical equipment was protected. I thought I was safe. 2 days after I moved in, there was a sharp knock at the door, the kind that feels more like a threat than a greeting. I opened it, and there she was, mid-50s, perfect blonde bob, pastel cardigan, clipboard clutched to her chest like a badge of authority. "I'm Karen Westfield, president of the Sunshine Meadows HOA," she announced. No hello, no smile, just pure command. Her eyes swept past me straight into my living room, and then she froze. Her lips curled when she saw the oxygen concentrator beside my recliner. "What's all this?" she said, her tone dripping with disgust. "It's medical equipment," I replied. "I have COPD. I need it to breathe." She wrote something down, still staring at the machine. "Well, medical or not, it can't be visible from the street. Section 12, paragraph 4, community aesthetics. You'll have to move it." I took a slow, careful breath through my cannula. "That section doesn't apply," I said evenly. "Medical devices are exempt under federal law." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "I've been running this HOA for 15 years, she said sharply. "I think I know the rules better than someone who just moved in." She shoved a yellow notice into my hand. 7 days to comply. After that, it's a $100 fine per day. And that was just the beginning. Within weeks, I was drowning in violation letters. Garbage can left out 10 minutes late, oxygen tank visible in my car wheelchair ramp an inch too wide. It was endless. I sent certified letters to the board quoting the Fair Housing Act, explaining my condition, pleading for reason. Nothing. When I finally attended a board meeting to speak in person, Karen sat at the head of the table, chin high, smile razor sharp. Every time I spoke, she scribbled on her clipboard without looking up. When I mentioned discrimination, she laughed quietly and said, "We simply want to maintain standards, Mr. Miller. If everyone made exceptions, this place would look like chaos." The other board members avoided my gaze. I could see it in their faces, they were uncomfortable. But no one dared challenge her. After the meeting, a man named Tom Jenkins, one of the board members, caught up with me in the parking lot. "Hey," he said softly. "I'm sorry. Karen gets intense. She's been president forever. Most people just let her do whatever she wants." "This isn't about rules," I said. "She's harassing me. This is illegal." Tom glanced around, his voice dropping. "Be careful. The last guy who stood up to her, his hedges were poisoned. A month later, he moved out." That stuck with me. Karen wasn't just bossy, she was dangerous. Over the next few weeks, she escalated. She started taking photos of my house sometimes, multiple times a day. Once I caught her standing right outside my window snapping pictures while I was reading in my recliner. I stepped outside and asked, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" "Community inspection," she said without missing a beat. Then she turned and strutted away like she owned the place. That was the day I installed security cameras. I figured if she was going to keep harassing me, I needed proof. I didn't realize then it would end up saving my life. A few weeks later, my health took a turn. I was having one of those days where every breath felt like dragging air through wet cement. I had the oxygen turned up a bit higher, trying to rest. The doorbell rang. My phone buzzed, camera alert. Karen again. Clipboard, cardigan, smug expression. I ignored her. I was too exhausted to deal with another pointless violation. About 10 minutes later, I heard a loud metallic clank from the side of the house. The sound made my stomach twist. That's where the external compressor for my oxygen system was installed. Then suddenly my machine started beeping. The pressure was dropping fast. Panic hit me hard. My chest tightened, my vision blurred. I reached for the backup tank, hands trembling so badly I could barely twist the valve. That's when I heard the front door burst open. Karen stood there panting slightly. a ring of keys in her hand. "As HOA president, I have access keys for emergencies," she said, voice full of authority. "Your equipment violates our rules. I'm shutting it down." I could barely speak, gasping between words. "What did you do?" She smiled, cold proud. "I disconnected that eyesore outside. You never got approval for it. Consider this enforcement of community standards." I was choking on air, clawing for the backup line, trying to get it connected. My hearing was fading, but through the blur I saw her smirk as she turned to leave. My cameras caught every second her walking to the oxygen unit, turning the valves, removing a small part, and slipping it into her pocket like some kind of trophy. I managed to attach the backup just in time to take one desperate, life-saving breath. Then I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. A woman broke into my house. I gasped. She tampered with my oxygen system. "I can't breathe." Karen rolled her eyes. "Oh, don't be so dramatic," she snapped. "You're fine now. I was enforcing community guidelines." Within minutes, red and blue lights flashed across my living room. 2 police cruisers, an ambulance. Paramedics rushed in, helping me stabilize. One officer watched the camera footage on my phone. His expression went from calm to furious. Karen stood there, arms crossed, chin lifted. "This is HOA business," she said confidently. "We have covenants, and he agreed to them when he bought the property." The officer's voice was steady, but there was steel in it. "Ma'am, you entered his home without permission, tampered with life-sustaining medical equipment, and removed components. That's breaking and entering criminal negligence and possibly attempted manslaughter." Her face drained of color. "But I have access keys." "Aesthetic violations aren't emergencies, ma'am," the officer interrupted coldly. "Turn around and place your hands behind your back." Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. The moment the handcuffs clicked, she started babbling something about bylaws and property values and protecting the neighborhood. But no one listened. Outside neighbors gathered on their lawns, phones out, whispering in disbelief as the once untouchable HOA queen was led into a police car. For the first time since I moved in, Sunshine Meadows was silent. I spent 2 days in the hospital for observation. When I came home, there was a certified letter waiting in my mailbox. It was from the HOA board. They had held an emergency meeting. Karen Westfield was unanimously removed as president, effective immediately. All my fines were rescinded. My medical accommodations were officially approved and protected going forward. But the real justice came a few days later. The district attorney's office called me. Karen was facing multiple felony charges, breaking and entering, tampering with medical equipment, theft of medical components, and reckless endangerment. Her real estate license had been suspended, effectively ending her career. She was staring down serious jail time and massive financial penalties. A few mornings later, I saw her. She was standing outside the HOA office, escorted by her attorney, collecting her things. Her once perfect hair was a mess, her expression blank with shock. When she looked up and saw me sitting on my porch oxygen tank beside me, she froze. For a long moment, we just stared at each other. Her face twisted, rage, disbelief, humiliation, all tangled together. And for the first time since I'd moved in, Karen Westfield had nothing to say. I didn't speak either. I just took a slow, deep breath through my cannula and watched her turn away. For the first time in months, the air in Sunshine Meadows felt clean. Sometimes the ones who suffocate others end up choking on their own power.